Welcome to the late stream with the Big D. It's been a little while since we had a little chat with my viewers, but here I am after what has been an absolutely weird week. It has. We've had political assassinations. We've had massive protests in the UK. We've had stupidity from the Prime Minister. And we've also had, well, we would like the football to kind of give us a little bit of respite from the chaos that is the United Kingdom. But guess what? We didn't get that either. Well, certainly Manchester United fans didn't get that. Maybe Manchester City fans got that. But yeah, Manchester United were beaten resoundingly by Manchester City. And, there's absolutely no complaints from the Big D on this one. Not really. Not in terms of anything that happened with Manchester City. I mean, I've got my thoughts on Ruben Amorim, but we'll get into that. But first of all, welcome to the late stream with the Big D. If you like this stream, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to flick the little notification button so that you know when the next Big D stream hits. And as ever, if there's something on your mind, if something is bubbling up inside of you that you need to express, please express it in the comments or the chat. The Big D reads all of the chat, and he's always interested in what is on your mind. Anyway, yeah, Man United, we got beaten 3-0 by Manchester City. And to be fair, all three goals were actually quite good goals. They were all right. I mean, Erling Haaland was on form, and when a player as good as Erling Haaland is at it, then it's very difficult to play against a player like that. I mean, is he the best number 9 in world football right now? I mean, is there anyone better than him now? I mean, who are the best number 9s in the world, in world football now? Isaac? I would say he's better than Isaac. Lewandowski? Well, Lewandowski's up there and Harry Kane's up there. So, I mean, that's the level we're talking about when we're talking about Erling Haaland. He's just an absolute monster. He's like Ivan Drago from Rocky, like quite literally. Excuse the Big D. Don't drink, kids. 0%. But yeah, Erling Haaland was just absolutely on form. And even for once, Phil Foden had a good game because he's been crap for ages. And then all of a sudden, he's just brilliant against Man United. And it was a good goal, to be fair. I mean, even our goalkeeper wasn't really... Well, we can't use the Onana excuse now. But Bayinda, I mean, we just got beat. That was it. I mean, we didn't really play that bad. It's not like there were any glaring errors from anyone, really. We just came up short and just beaten. That was it. It's as simple as that. But I mean, well, I'll tell you what though, their goalkeeper played really well and all. I mean, that save from Brian Mbeumo's volley, I mean, if that had gone in, it might have been a different game. That was an absolutely world-class save from Gianluigi Donnarumma. And it's situations like that is why I feel as though Man United should have bought him. Because that was just absolutely world class. I mean, I couldn't believe what I saw, to be honest. I mean, any other goalkeeper that is in the back of the net, it's a good job. He's like 6'8", so it was good that he reached it. I mean, his wingspan must be the size of a bloody pterodactyl or something like that. But yeah, it was a great save from a great goalkeeper and fair play, you know. But yeah, I thought Mbeumo, like at the very least, he was at it and he was trying to make something happen. He was trying to get things going. It just wasn't working out for him. Sesko still looks a bit rusty, but he looked a little bit better, a little bit livelier than sort of any other game that he's played so far. I mean, even Amad Diallo was sort of quite nippy as well. I don't necessarily feel as though the defence was that bad, really. Not really. I mean, Luke Shaw didn't have a good game. He didn't have a good game. But Luke Shaw, who is a left back and he's playing at centre back, basically, up against Erling Haaland. I mean, Luke Shaw's a midget compared to Erling Haaland. Luke Shaw's a midget compared to most people, to be fair. But against Erling Haaland, who's 8'9", it's just not going to happen. And to be fair, Erling Haaland bullied Matthijs de Ligt as well. And Matthijs de Ligt is actually a really good defender, potentially world class. I would say he's world class, really, but he got bullied as well. I didn't think Dorgu had his best game for United. I mean, I do like Dorgu. His attitude's class and he works really hard. And I thought, at the very least, he was putting the effort in. But his final ball's shocking. He needs to learn how to pass the ball and cross it. It's absolutely ridiculous. There was a couple of instances where, he had an easy ball to just cross in, and I don't know if he sliced it or if he just didn't get any lift on it, and they were just easily blocked. Wasn't there one point where Erling Haaland was like defending for them, and then he'd go up the other end and score a goal or something stupid like that? It was just, they just weren't clinical. And the centre of midfield, I don't know, I feel as though we lost it in central midfield, really. Bruno Fernandes is not a central midfielder. He's just not. I mean, I thought Ugarte looked all right. I mean, he's just kind of been thrown in there against one of the best teams in the league, one of the best teams in the world. I thought he'd done all right. But having him next to Bruno Fernandes, who just doesn't have the discipline or the defensive capabilities to be a central midfielder, it's just weird. It's just weird. He needs Casemiro next to him or Kobe. He needs an actual specialist central midfielder next to him. And then, he might thrive. I mean, some players, not everyone's Roy Keane. Roy Keane, you can put him in any midfield and he'll dominate the game. Roy Keane on his own. I've seen Roy Keane dominate Edgar Davids and Zinedine Zidane on his own before. But not everyone's Roy Keane. Sometimes Batman needs Robin, so to speak. And I'm not necessarily saying that Ugarte is Batman, but let's say he's Robin. He needs a Batman next to him. And if that's going to be Kobe Mainoo or Casemiro, an aging Batman, an aging Dark Knight, then he should be in there with another superhero, not someone that should be playing in the number 10 position. So I think that's my main sort of gripes about the game at the weekend, really. We were just beaten by the better side, they were just better. And their world-class player, their star player, is the one that made the difference. And that's what star players do. United didn't play particularly awful. There was no gaping mistakes. We were just beaten. But heaps more pressure on Ruben Amorim. But anyway, I can see the chat is bouncing a little bit. So let's see what's happening in the chat. MU Intrigued. Hello, my friend. Yes, we've spoken before, I believe, on some of my commentary videos. Nice to hear from you. Yes, sack him. MU Intrigued wants Ruben Amorim sacked. Okay. Shelley, nice to hear from you. Welcome to the late stream with the Big D. I can't believe he's still in the job, to be honest, says Shelley. And fair enough. MU Intrigued again. The press cost us goals. Ugarte and Bruno pressed. Dorgu and Reyes dropped in behind. Shaw focused on Reyes. Then, because Shaw and Dorgu are both left backs, it affects us. The press, as in the press. Ah, right. When you said the press there, MU Intrigued, I thought you meant the press as in, like, the media. I was like, oh, God, what have they said now? They say everything, really. Yeah, I mean, we're not clinical enough up front at the moment. So that sort of nullifies the press. And we're not quite as good on the ball as Man City at this particular point. Man City are the team that it's always best to beat them on the counter-attack. Ollie used to beat Man City regularly, regularly. I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got the best record of any manager in world football against Pep Guardiola, and he used to always beat him on the counter-attack. So it's very difficult to try and play Pep Guardiola at basically the same system that he invented. So, I mean, if you've got the players that he's had to try and press, then fair enough. But the players that we've got, it's just, I don't know. We're not there yet at this particular point. Shelley, the team are not playing for him. They don't like him, methinks. Do you know what, Shelley? I kind of disagree, Shelley, to be honest. Excuse me. I do think the team are putting the effort in, to be quite honest. I like I mentioned just earlier on, I don't feel as though we played that badly. I mean, I've seen us play a lot worse and get absolutely battered. I mean, we got beat 6-2 once by them. Erling Haaland scored about, I think he got an hat-trick that day. So I've seen us play a lot worse. I do think they're putting the effort in. It's just not clicking yet. And it doesn't help when Bruno Fernandes plays in central midfield when he's not a central midfielder. So that kind of leaves us vulnerable down the middle, I feel. MU intrigued. Yes, he's 6'5". I'm assuming you're talking about Gianluigi Donnarumma. I think Bruno needs the armband pass to De Ligt. Bruno was trying to tell the defence to push up when he should have been focused on Foden. De Ligt can see in front of him. Bruno got to look behind. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I don't have a problem with Bruno Fernandes being the captain of Manchester United. I like Bruno. I love Bruno. I think he's our best player. But I wouldn't be unhappy if De Ligt got it. I think De Ligt is... I really like De Ligt. I think he's brilliant. I think he's world class. And he is captain material. He was the captain of that Ajax team that got to the Champions League semi-final under Tin Pot Ten Hag. And I think De Ligt will be a United player for years to come. I think he's found his club now, Matthijs De Ligt, and I think he will be a future Man United captain. It looks like Bruno will probably go next summer, especially if we get another £100 million offer for him. And if that's the case, I think it will be De Ligt who becomes the Manchester United captain. So that I'd never thought of that, to be honest, MU. I think that's an absolutely fantastic shout. I really like De Ligt. And yeah, definitely have him as captain. If Bruno wants to give him the armband, fair enough. But Bruno should be concentrating not on pressing people necessarily or marking anyone. Maybe pressing, but not marking anyone. Bruno should be concentrating on scoring goals. And he can only do that if he's playing in one of those number 10 positions. Look at Bruno's heat map, then you realise why he went off. First couple of seasons, he's in the final third. Now he's all over the gaff. Well, exactly indeed. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of talk about the Ruben Amorim situation at present. And always remember, thoughts in the chat. The Big D reads all of the chat, as you've just seen. So please, thoughts in the chat. I wanted to look at Ruben Amorim's situation when he was at Sporting Lisbon, because it's not worked out for Ruben Amorim so far. But this is, just using my own pattern recognition, this is actually quite consistent to what happened when he was at Sporting Lisbon, like first time round. He took over Sporting Lisbon, and this is what my lovely AI assistant says. Because Ruben Amorim has a very specific style, and he's got a very specific attitude, and he wants his team and his squad to play in a very specific kind of way. And it takes quite a bit of painful time for that to sort of kick in. And it's still a painful time at Manchester United. So we're obviously not quite there yet, because the results are reflecting the fact that it's not quite there yet. But Ruben Amorim This is what it says, okay? So he was appointed by Sporting Lisbon in March of 2020. Sporting paid 10 million euros to Braga for him, which was a huge fee for a young, unproven coach, especially mid-season. He was seen as a gamble, especially as Braga were actually third in the league, while Sporting were fourth. He took over with only 13 games left in the 1920 season. Now, by the end of that season, Ruben Amorim hadn't turned things around overnight. Sporting finished fourth, behind Braga, ironically the team that he left. Fans were sceptical. His football was not yet clicking. Does that ring any bells? And there were questions about his inexperience, which is what's happening now, to be honest. Key point, there were no trophies, no major improvement, but behind the scenes, a culture shift was already starting. He was laying foundations, demanding discipline, focus, and positional intelligence. Now, I don't know about you guys, but what I've just read there, key point. No trophies, no major improvement, but behind the scenes, a culture shift was already starting. He was laying foundations, demanding discipline, focus, and positional intelligence. Now, that is exactly what is happening now. If anything, there has been a culture shift at Manchester United. He's gotten rid of the bomb squad. Anthony, Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho, who else? I don't know. Onana, So a bunch of those players had bad attitudes. So that's what's happening at the moment. Now, if you remember, well, a lot of you might not remember. The Big D doesn't actually remember because the Big D was a bit young then. But from what the Big D's read, during Fergie's first few seasons in charge, things weren't improving dramatically, but things behind the scenes were changing. Culture shifts were happening. And then obviously with Fergie, the penny just dropped eventually, and then it just went poof. And then United just absolutely dominated. Okay? Now, in his first full season in charge, which was the 2020 to the 2021 season, he had a full pre-season and he started to build his squad. Now, he promoted young players like Inacio, Nuno Mendes. I didn't know they had Nuno Mendes, who's absolutely fantastic at PSG. He signed smart, system-specific players like Pedro Goncalves. And he let go of high-profile stars that didn't fit his philosophy. I mean, this is just exactly what's happening at Manchester United. Pretty much, anyway. So with United this season, his first full season, he's signed smart, system-specific players in Cunha, in Dorgu, in Mbeumo, in Benjamin Šeško. Whenever I say Sesko, I say it like a gold member from Austin Powers 3, Šeško. Anyway, so he's doing that at United. So system-specific players, okay? And also letting go of high-profile stars that fit his philosophy. Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, Garnacho, Højlund. Now, it doesn't actually say. Now, however, this is where things are a little bit different at Sporting than when at Man United. Okay, so far anyway. So, in the 2020 to 21 season, they dominated. Sporting went undefeated for 32 league games. They won the league, their first title in 19 years, and they also won the Portuguese League Cup. And Amorim was hailed as a tactical genius. The system that looked complicated and ineffective in year one now looked innovative and unbeatable. Takeaway. Ruben Amorim's first few months were underwhelming in terms of results, just like his first season at United. But once he had a full pre-season, a squad tailored to his philosophy, and time to drill the players in his complex system, he absolutely dominated. So if United fans are panicking now, they just need to look at history. Amorim isn't a quick fix. He's a system builder. Year one might be ugly. Year two, growing pains. But year three could be historic. Now, here's the thing. He's had his first full pre-season. He's got a squad now that's more tailored towards his philosophy. Percent finished yet. But he's had time to drill the players in his complex system. I still feel as though he needs a central midfielder, or at the very least give Cobby some games, and then he might start to kick on. But it doesn't look like he's going to dominate in this season. So far, things could just click one day. He might just sort of wake up and play Cobby Mainoo, and then all of a sudden that frees up Bruno Fernandes, and then maybe we'll start scoring goals, and then we'll just get a bit of a groove on, and we'll just start picking up points. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe it won't. We'll see. But it doesn't look like that. Doesn't look like that's going to happen now, right? Just yet. But the $1 million question is, are Ineos going to look at this pattern, and are they going to keep faith with Ruben Amorim and give him until the end of this season? How long are they going to give him? That's the question, right? Now, it's been a bit crap so far, but he's got... So we got beat by Arsenal, but there was a lot of positives there. We drew with Fulham, should have beaten them. We got beat by Grimsby in the League Cup, but I mean, that was just a glaring error by Onana. We beat Burnley 3-2, and then we got beat by Man City 3-0, right? We've got Chelsea next, the current world champions. Then we've got Brentford away. Then we've got Sunderland at home. And then after that, we've got Liverpool away. He's got until that Liverpool game to turn things around. I think if the next 3 games, United haven't dramatically improved, I think Liverpool will probably absolutely batter United, and then I think Ruben Amorim will get sacked. That's what I think is going to happen. If he doesn't turn things around. Now, at Chelsea, who knows? You never know. He might figure it out, and then we might beat Chelsea, and then we might beat Brentford, and then we might beat Sunderland. And if we win those 3 games and then get beat by Liverpool, I think he'll be fine. But it's the next 3 games are going to be crucial for him. He needs to get some wins there to get a bit of momentum for the Liverpool game. And then if he does that, and then he'll have enough breathing space to survive the Liverpool match, regardless of what happens there. But he needs to start doing something. We need to see something now. We do need to see something. He doesn't need to dominate, but we need to see a bit of an improvement, or he's going to be sacked. He's going to be sacked. And isn't Ollie available? Isn't Jose Mourinho available? So there's managers there who are available. I mean, what's Carlo Ancelotti doing these days? Is he knocking about? That's a good question. What's going on with Ancelotti? Do you know what? I'm going to have a little look at this. Tell you what we'll do. As of September 2025, how many and who, in terms of world-class football managers, are available to sign? Let's see what the AI assistant says. So Jose Mourinho's available. Gareth Southgate's available. Luciano Spalletti, former Italian manager, is available. What's Carlo Ancelotti doing? And isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer available as well? And Eric Ten Hag? Ancelotti's the Brazil coach. Oh, well, fair enough. But we've got Ole's available, Ten Hag's available, and Jose Mourinho's available. So there are some managers there available, but it's I mean, personally, I don't want to see Ruben Amorim get sacked. I want him to stay. I want to see this system put into place. I want to see his squad. I want to see us get Carlos Baleba or whoever. I want Kobe Mainoo to get some games, and I want to see United start to play really, really, really well. But yeah, anyway, that's the situation on that front. I mean, from what I was seeing with Fabrizio Romano, he was saying that Ruben Amorim is actually happy with his squad at the moment, but he just wants to see a little bit more physicality and intensity, and he wants the mentality to be better, basically, in the sense that when United go down, he doesn't want to see their heads drop, right? But I think he needs to realise he needs to put some central midfielders into central midfield. But in terms of United, this is what's saying here. So, according to reports, Manchester United are going to remain patient with Ruben Amorim despite the worst start to a Premier League season in 33 years. Ruben Amorim has promised that he won't change his footballing philosophy, and his bosses at United have no plans to change the head coach. The club has a long-term plan, and while there is obvious and growing frustration with results, there will be no knee-jerk reaction or regular reassessment of the head coach's future after every defeat, however loud the noise grows from outside. Since Sir Alex left 12 years ago, there have been 2 caretakers and 8 substantive bosses. There is no desire to start afresh with a 9th. That said, Amorim desperately needs a performance and more positive results against Chelsea this weekend, live on Sky Sports. Otherwise, the clamour for his sacking will only grow. With 4 points from their opening 4 games, United have enjoyed their worst start to the Premier League since the 92-93 season, which, ironically, we won. They also went out of the Carabao Cup as well against Grimsby. It's painful to watch. Amorim acknowledges and understands the supporters are hurting, but he says he is suffering still more as he battles to turn things around. And he knows that his bosses are patient and that they are realistic in their assessments, that there are no quick fixes at Old Trafford. But there is also a recognition on all sides that currently things are far from good enough. Manchester United feel, and I think this is a very, very fair point, Manchester United feel they are losing out on fine margins, and I agree with this. It was one goalkeeping error that lost us the Arsenal game. Andre Onana cost us, like one player cost us against Grimsby as well, and there was a couple of close calls against Fulham. So it says here, a humbling defeat to Manchester City is always going to hurt. But Sky Sports News has been told there is widespread belief at Old Trafford that City's performance and United's failings did not merit a 3-0 scoreline. There is no doubt Pep Guardiola's team definitively deserved the victory, and there is dismay at the 3 goals United conceded, with Erling Haaland's second a particularly tough one to swallow after the visitors vacated their entire defensive half to allow the Norwegian striker to run through unchecked. But there is pragmatism at Old Trafford, recognising that had Brian Mbeumo's volley not been met with a world-class save from Donnarumma when the score was 2-0, or had Casemiro not missed a sitter at the back post, there might have been a better gloss to the result. And that's true. Fine margins. Fine margins. I mean, if Erling Haaland maybe had a little bit of an off game, if Donnarumma had a little bit of an off game, if United got a little bit more luck here or there, it's a different kettle of fish, you know. Amorim and the United hierarchy feel they are losing out on the fine margins right now. There are other mitigating circumstances too. The injuries to Mason Mount and Matthias Cunha are particularly damaging, especially because the United squad doesn't have the strength in depth of any of the other big six clubs right now. I don't agree with that point. I think that's a moot point. I don't think Mason Mount brings much to the club, to be honest. Not at this point, not in the position that he's being played. Cunha looks good, actually. I really like Matthias Cunha. He's had a really good start. So yeah, he's been a blow. But in terms of the squad depth, again, I think that's a moot point. Man United don't need a deep squad right now. They're only in 2 competitions. They're playing 1 game every week or something like that. Something stupid like that. So they've got more than enough time for the players to recover in between games, to the point where Casemiro could probably play 38 games this season, no problem, and not get tired or anything like that. No European football, no Carabao Cup now. We've just got league games now until about January when the FA Cup starts. So I think that's a load of rubbish, to be quite frank. United don't need a massive squad. In fact, the squad that we've got now is more than big enough for us to compete, really. Ruben Amorim just needs to get the personnel right in the middle of the pitch. Anyway, it says here it will take several transfer windows and clever recruitment before the squad is at the level that it should be to make Ruben Amorim's system sort of click. Mount and Cunha should both be back available soon. Benjamin Sesko is still adapting to life in the Premier League, but there is optimism that he's beginning to feel more comfortable, albeit with very limited service. That was his first Premier League start for United on Sunday. Amorim's stubbornness over his playing system with the defiant 3 centre-backs is very much a live debate. Ruben Amorim says, "When I want to change my philosophy, I will change. If not, you will have to change the man." I like the fact that he's defiant, to be fair, because the minute he changes his mind, that is the beginning of the end for Ruben Amorim. It is not the first time that he has effectively said, "back me or sack me," in front of the media. But when Amorim was appointed in November last year, the United hierarchy knew what they were getting and the specific way in which the Portuguese coach chooses to play. Now, here we go. Is Ruben Amorim overlooking Kobbie Mainoo? There remains a belief beyond Amorim's coaching staff that the system can be a success. But there is some consternation that with United's midfield struggling to hold its own so far this season, Amorim is repeatedly overlooking the talent of Kobbie Mainoo. Now, it's important to note, Kobbie Mainoo actually looked really good when he did come on. He looked lively, he looked nippy, and he showed some really nice skill, and he showed a little bit of penetration as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think he should be starting, but hey-ho. The midfielder looked bright when he came off the bench for the last 30 minutes against City, as I've just said. And that again has prompted many a United fan to ask why he's yet to start a Premier League game this season. Exactly. What is clear is that Amorim doesn't think he is the finished article and that at 20 years old, he still needs to develop. The United boss is working hard and personally with Mainoo behind the scenes, but rightly or wrongly, Mainoo's involvement will be managed. He is not currently in Amorim's first choice lineup. How can he develop when he doesn't get games? Kobbie Mainoo needs games. I don't understand. Like, Kobbie Mainoo was a starter under Erik ten Hag, and when he started under Erik ten Hag, he thrived. Kobbie Mainoo was the type of player, like, you just stick him in and he rises to the occasion. He's one of those players that rises to the occasion. Every time he's been promoted in the youth team, I mean, he doesn't necessarily look like Zinedine Zidane, But you stick him in and he rises to that level. And then you give him a shot on the next level up, he rises to that level. And the next level up and he rises to that level. And when he was thrown in the first team, he rose to the level, no problem. In fact, he just slotted right in, no problem. When he played for England, he slotted in, no problem, to the point where he was touted as, the next big thing in central midfield. I don't think this has got anything to do with whether or not Kobe Mainoo's, good enough or anything like that, or whether or not he suits Ruben Amorim's system. I think this is just Ruben Amorim sort of reining him in a little bit, sort of tempering the ego, so to speak. Because, to be fair, Kobe Mainoo's attitude lately has been absolutely shocking. Want to go on loan for his own development because, he wanted to go, even though Man United needed, they need central midfielders, and also wanting a big fat fancy contract, like 200 grand a week or something stupid like that. Yeah, I think Ruben Amorim is doing to him what Alex Ferguson used to do to players back in the day, to David Beckham and things like that. So I think that's what's going on there. But, which I have sympathy for. I get that, and I don't disagree with Ruben Amorim doing that, especially to a 20-year-old. Because too much too soon can ruin careers, But I think it's getting to the point now where he needs to give him a couple of games, For the Manchester United bosses, they feel little has changed after the weekend's game against their bitter rivals. That is not to say they will wait for change indefinitely. Rather, they accept that correcting United's malaise is a long-term project. And I'm glad United are thinking medium to long-term now and not short-term to medium-term. It's always best. Fergie used to always think medium to long-term. He used to say, even when he had a title-winning team just there, ready, good to go, and winning leagues, he said he always used to focus on what the team was going to be like in 3 or 5 years' time. And I think that's good. Excuse me. Big D's a little rundown. Anyway, what's it saying? We'll get to the chat in just a little minute. And there is little or no desire to rip up the current plan, change the man in charge of the team, and start again from scratch. Club legends are lining up to say enough is enough. Wayne Rooney, Roy Keane, Gary Neville. Now there's a list of great managers whose opinion you want to listen to. Oh, absolutely fantastic. No, I'm not going to rag on Rooney and Keane. I'm just not. I'm just being a cheeky get, because they are legends of the club, to be fair, as players. But they are saying that the pressure on Amorim is mounting and things have to improve quickly. And no one knows it more acutely than Ruben Amorim himself. Yeah, I mean, he needs to start sort of kicking on. But let's have a little look at the chat. The Big D always likes the chat. So, am you intrigued? I think we should go for Eddie Howe at the end of the season, get an interim in till the end of this season. Ollie as interim. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took over as interim manager again, we'd probably win 15 games in a row again, and he'd probably get the job again. And do you know what? I would not object to that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer shouldn't have been sacked in the first place, to be fair. He has been, without a shadow of a doubt, our best manager post-Fergie. Without a doubt. Eddie Howe, I don't know, I think that's a bit of a rough shout, to be honest. I mean, I'd rather have Eddie Howe than Gareth Southgate. I'd rather have Eddie Howe than, say, Eric Ten Hag. But I can't see... I think Eddie Howe's good where he's at, to be honest. Leave Eddie Howe at Newcastle and then give Eddie Howe the England job. I'd rather see that, to be quite frank. Not Brett May says, so Amorim has been sacked? No, not yet. But if results don't improve by the Liverpool game, and if we get beat by Liverpool, I think his time will be up. Am you intrigued? He should have got rid of Luke Shaw and Diogo Dalot. I think they're good players, mate, to be honest. I think Luke Shaw and Dalot are good, useful players. I'm not saying they're world class. I mean, Luke Shaw probably could have been world class, but he's been far too. He's been stealing a living at Man United, to be fair, in the time that he's been there. And Diogo Dalot, I think he's a good player. That being said, I thought Mazraoui played really, really well against Man City, and I'd like to see him play at right wing back a lot more often. He's got a good delivery. He's got good ball control. He's a fine athlete. He's actually a really, really talented footballer. Mazraoui. I want to see him at that right wing back position a lot more often, to be honest. Am you intrigued? You don't like Dorgu, mate? I mean, he wasn't great at the weekend. He wasn't great. Fine athlete, works hard. I think it will click for him eventually, but he needs to work on his passing because his crossing was absolutely, well, as you say, shite. Excuse the big D's language. Am you intrigued? Ollie interim until the end of the season, then get Eddie Howe at the end of the season. How have we got 5 or 6 number 10s? Lol. Yeah, I know. So who are our number 10s? Mason Mount, he's been playing there. Bruno, Xerxes, Cunha, and Mbomo as well. Is there anyone else that plays at number 10? Well, you could say Kobe Mainoo can play at number 10 as well. Yeah, I mean, Mason Mount, I thought, isn't Mason Mount number 8? I'm sure he played at number 8 for Chelsea when he was there. So, and didn't he play at number 8 for England when Gareth Southgate used to play 3-4-3? So why is he playing at number 10? I really don't like Mason Mount playing at number 10. And if you ask me, Ruben Amorim playing Mason Mount at number 10 in that Europa League final and not playing Garnacho probably cost us that game, to be fair. I'm not saying that Garnacho was sort of would have made the difference himself specifically, but it upset the balance of the team that day, and it was important that we just kept the same balance that we'd had, like in the team leading up to the final, just to keep the momentum going, so that we could just get over the line. Because Mason Mount always played best last season when he came off the bench. So to start him, I felt as though it just disrupted the momentum going into that final, really. So bringing him on for the last 10 minutes would have been better. But hey ho, we got beaten. That's that. And to be fair, if we'd been in the Champions League this season, we'd just be whipping boys. Hopefully, we get hammered by Chelsea and Amorim is sacked. You really don't like him, do you, MU? What else are you saying? Mount, Cunha, and Mbomo, Mainoo, Bruno, Xerxes are all number 10s. How has the board allowed that to happen and not have CM other than Casemiro and Ugarte? Mainoo's a central midfielder, to be fair. I know he can play at number 10, but we've actually got 3 central midfielders. But I agree. I mean, I think Mbomo and Cunha have looked really good. I don't think we needed them both. I really don't. One or the other would have done, if you ask me. And I feel as though we maybe should have got, like, fair enough, Sesko, but then maybe bought a seasoned number 9 as well, or even kept Rasmus Højlund, because he's got a really good goal in his debut for Napoli at the weekend. Nearly called them Natalie. FC Natalie, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, it is a bit of a strange one, but is what it is. But yeah, so United are not necessarily looking to sack Ruben Amorim just yet. But as I say, he's got 3 games to improve things dramatically. And then he's got the Liverpool match where if we get trounced at Anfield, which we probably will, mind you, we said that last season and we ended up having a really good game and unlucky not to win. But he's got until then, and then very good chance that he will get sacked. But the Big D is going to wrap up in just a few moments. But a little bit of news that has been brought to my attention. Apparently, there's some teams in Italy, we don't know who, that after Ugarte, there was a situation where we could have gotten rid of him in the summer. He nearly left, but Ruben Amorim really likes him. He's got his confidence in him, and he's staying at United for now, at the very least. Harry Maguire's contract's up as well, but he wants to stay. And yet we've already spoken about Kobbie Mainoo. So yeah, it's been a weird week. Weird weekend as well. Not a great result against Manchester City, but it is what it is. Bang, bang. Anyone that wants us to lose football matches is not a real fan. That is ridiculous. Yes, bang, bang. We know you, my friend, are very, very loyal to Ruben Amorim. And I agree with you. I don't want to see him go. Not just yet. I want to see this system work. I really do. But we shall see. Anyway, the Big D is going to wrap up, because the Big D wants an early night and it's 10:30, because the Big D is a little bit run down. But remember, if you like this stream, please like, share and subscribe. Don't forget to put your comments in the comment section if there's anything in your mind. And also check out the Big D's Insta and TikTok at the Big D _ Insta, at the Big D _ TikTok. And yeah, the Big D will see you in the next one. Ciao.